How's it going, everyone? Hope you're doing well. Today, we're going to be talking about TCG Player's recent articles on the biggest Pokemon movers and shakers of the week, Pokemon cards that are gaining price and rising in value, and then Pokemon cards that are also maybe stabilizing in price points or maybe losing some value recently. So there's two articles. We're just going to go over the first couple cards from the week of July 30th and then the week of August 5th. So two notable cards we definitely got to look at. Starting off with the Gengar Mimikyu GX card. And what's really great about this card is that it's holding pretty strong right now at $80. In the past 3 months, it's risen from $54 to $85. And then if we compare that to the past year, if it would load, there we go. The past year, can you believe a year ago in August 28th, this was a $32 card. So it just goes to show that card prices can change over time, right? And especially if they're popular Pokemon, it's probably a good investment, especially if the entry point is low. Look at that Groudon from Paradox Rift. So a year ago, $32, now sitting at about $80. If we check the last month, it's dropped though from $109 with all the hype, right? Last year there was the hype and the team upset, and everyone was buying all the other cards. And then, starting in May, it started shooting up in value to $100, and now it's kind of losing some steam right now and settling at around $80. So it's going to be really cool and interesting to see if this card drops any further. It's a super awesome card. I would totally pick it up if it was like $40, $50 though. It's a regular ultra rare, so I'm not too sure, but it's a really cool card to collect. All right, next, a more recent card, we have the Arceus V. If we check from the past month, it was selling at around $38, $36, and currently selling for $28. And the past 2 months, or the past month actually, has lost about $10 in value. And then, 3 months ago, I can't believe it was hitting an all-time high of $57. That must be when the alternate arts were just still rising in price. And now they're kind of correcting after, people, when products tend to gain a lot of value, there's going to be people ready to sell, right? And that's kind of like the idea when you're investing, is that when you have, your different collectibles and your different investments that you've told yourself you're going to invest to sell, even though that can be hard sometimes, it's really great to go ahead and take some of that money back and reinvest. And just like some other YouTubers talked about, I think Nostalgianomics called it, right? That a lot of people were going to start entering into Scarlet and Violet. And so you can see that play out everywhere. Paldea Evolved, Twilight Masquerade, you name it. So, yeah, so in the past 3 months, this card has dropped significantly from $57 down to $28. And so, that's kind of where this card belongs maybe for right now. But if we remember from Gengar and Mimikyu, which is just an ultra rare, and Gengar is really popular, I would say that this card is around a good time to pick up $28. I think it was fluctuating around $26 for a really long time anyways, from what I recall. So Brilliant Stars is a really great set, and this is an alternate art. So, or I guess it says ultra rare, but I'm pretty sure it's an alt art, right? Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But I mean, a lot of people love Arceus. It's a really famous Pokemon, and it's kind of an older legendary Pokemon now. And so, yeah, so let's go ahead and look at this recent week. So this is for August 5th, the biggest Pokemon movers and shakers, and some really interesting cards going on right here. Right now, to start off, we got the Kyogre EX card, which is an ultra rare technically, from Hidden Legends, which came out back in 20 years ago, from 2004, Hidden Legends. So currently selling, we had some sales for $99. Now, when you read the article, it talks about how a near mint copy all of a sudden sold for $100. And now most of the near mint copies are selling for about $144 for the cheapest near mint copy right here. And so for the longest time, it says that it was selling for $75 to $80. So yeah, if we check right here, $70 right there. If we look a year ago, gosh, this was only a $48 card, which would have probably been a really great time to pick up near mint copies and grade them. So that reminds me, I want to do a bunch of videos on all the EX era cards from like Ruby and Sapphire. I've only done a couple videos, but I want to go through all the sets and just kind of check out cards that you can either grade near mint or go after the PSA 9s, because I think PSA 9s for like older vintage cards are kind of a good way to go. But yeah, so we have this Kyogre right now, recently selling for about $140, $100. The last one sold for 100, and all the other near mint copies are, the price is set for 144 now. Next, we have the Charizard EX card. Really awesome card. I've been meaning to get this card. I think it has a pretty high population for like PSA 9s and 10s, and I think that's why I didn't pull the trigger on it. But right now it's selling for $49. 3 months ago was selling for $38 back in May of this year. And so, yeah, you can see this card starting to make pretty big moves right here. Let's see, the past 6 months was selling for $38. Now it's at $48. So $10 gain in the past 6 months. And from a year ago, selling for $41 and now $48. So $7 since last year. Probably pretty good price, you know. It's an excellent Charizard card. It's actually beautiful. It's got the Flareon. It's got the Magnetor. And so you don't really find really cool Charizard cards like that, you know. And I know a lot of people were over Charizard, but Charizard wins all day long in the long run, I feel. So next we have Blastoise EX. It's been really getting more popular. I actually had this card and sold it for $45, so I could pick up an ETB and just have it sealed for Pokemon 151. But yeah, so it looks like currently selling for $48, which is really good. It's been pretty steady for the past 3 months, from $41, fluctuating from $41, $47, $52 at one point. So yeah, $41 card, $48 card. That's really good for this card because it's steadily kind of climbing little by little, right? It hasn't completely fallen, and Pokemon 151 so far hasn't really crashed a whole lot. It's just kind of corrected itself. It's super popular, right? And so if we look from a year ago, you know, the highest it was kind of selling for was 56. So it's still under its highest selling point so far. You know, after that it was at 48, 48, 50 again. So, you know, it's been kind of teeter-tottering. I'm around $50 to $40, and so really beautiful card. So that's on the list. Next, really interesting, we have this Roaring Moon EX, and the person who wrote this article was talking about how normally cards, you know, they're really hot when they first come out. People are rushing to get them graded so they can sell them and flip them for PSA 10s. But what's really interesting about this Roaring Moon is that it's kind of staying around that $55 card point. At one point, it was selling for about $80, and that's when I picked up 2 of them. And my goal was originally to grade them. I still haven't graded them. It's not giving me the prices. But past 6 months, though, $60. Now it's selling for $55. So it's been fluctuating around $60 to $55, which is really good. $60 to $50, yeah. So currently selling for $55, and May saw a little rise at $69. All right, next we have the Raging Bolt. The article talks about how, you know, this card is basically a really playable card in the TCG. You're going to need different copies as well to search through your deck a little better. But we all know that Raging Bolt SIR is the one to go with. But this card has been steadily rising, you know, basically because it's playable. And so it was originally like back in May a $3 card, and now it is a $6 card. Next and last one on the list, we have the Plusle, which goes in hand with the Minun. For the longest time, for the past 6 months, was selling for about let's see, $7. Now currently a $14 card as of the late July, $14. And so really interesting, you know, the illustration rares are getting really popular. Everyone's kind of reinvesting their money into Scarlet and Violet, right? We're kind of seeing that already with all the sets rising in price. And so these illustration rares are something to look out for. Shrouded Fable, I hear, does have some better card quality. So we might want to wait for Shrouded Fable till those singles kind of drop in price, especially because those ETBs are delayed. So that's less product that's just available to rip. You got to rip collection boxes, and the bundles aren't even out yet. So we got to do another video about illustration rares. I know a ton of YouTubers have done that already, but there's some really great illustration rares I'd like to talk about. And so, yeah, I'll see y'all next time. MJ Okage out. Peace.